coat. Vocal dope in the boat. Eric Brick be the truth. That's why I get the.
Let's side by side, together as brothers. Can't nothing stop us. Nothing.
Crooks in the whole goddamn department.
These men right here, my detectives, we do things by the book.
Mr. the Madness, I'm living.
Drug war justifies a lot.
Mr. the Madness.
This is a dysfunctional police department with a culture that looks at accountability as a four-letter word.
I told you weeks ago about a federal investigation.
There's always a rumor of a federal investigation. This shit never happens. It's false.
What's going on, YouTube? We back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Knobs YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we are back with another TV show review, and we are back with We Own This City, Season 1, Episode 3 review, Part 3. We started this episode off with another interrogation, but we pretty much have the supervisor Tom, and he was pretty much the guy that was watching over the gun trace task force. He was pretty much the guy that was pretty much the leader, and he was the guy that was pretty much recruiting the guys who he wanted on the team. And we started this episode off with him pretty much getting informed by his lawyer just how serious the charges are, and him being informed just what you did and what you and your people were doing and what you are possibly being faced with as far as time. So he's pretty much getting that realization. But of course, while we are doing this, we end up time jumping. We go 6 months back to 2016 because of course all cops being interrogated is taking place in 2017. So we come across Daniel Hurst. You know, this is the guy who's pretty much having all the complaints being put against him. He's one of the reasons Nicole Steele is doing all the interviews or whatever, trying to understand why this guy's still on the street. This is where we get that moment of cops protecting cops, and where it's like it's no repercussions for your actions, things you have done, and that's where we get with this situation. And he's pretty much being transferred to the gun trace task force because of all the complaints. It's almost like he's pretty much done got promoted for being a corrupt and being an abusive authority figure. So it's his fellow officers that talk to him about his behavior. Not real serious, just really whatever about the situation. As far as like his complaints, it's like he got promoted, like once again, he got promoted for doing his job worse. But it's also showing you how cops protect cops and how they really do not care. And it's really just crazy just seeing how they go about it and how they just so nonchalant with everything. And we have two moments with them. I mean, with these type of scenes. It's with Daniel Hurst, and it's a scene was similar with Wayne Jenkins, and I'm going to get to that. But it's just showing like that nonchalant attitude about, man, you know what I'm saying? You out here doing what you're doing as far as pulling people over for no reason, pretty much doing abuse to certain people and individuals as far as citizens. But since you get so many complaints, let's just take you over here, and where they don't really know how you act over there. It's kind of that type of situation, and it's kind of how they deal with him. It's crazy, man. It's just seeing, but it's almost like a behind the scenes look as far as, especially what they was doing in Baltimore at the time. And this is within the time that's going on with the whole Freddie Gray situation. So that was really interesting to see how they dealt with that. But this episode shows the gun trace task force tactics too. Once Daniel Hurst starts joining the team, it's showing you how they stealing money, how they getting information for stops, especially with the FBI monitoring Gondo. You know, the main guy that's they've been following since the first episode. That's a part of the one of the guys. He was the first guy that was being interrogated in the first episode as far as Gondo, but he's the guy they got on the wiretap. But we pretty much get him, and as far as the FBI monitoring Gondo's calls, the one member that they've been following and monitoring all this time. But it's showing you the domino effect though of what stealing and the effect that it would have on certain individuals that they was coming across and that they was doing. You got to remember, they were going after either people that was drug dealers or people that was a part of the streets that was doing certain things involved in the streets. So when they would do certain things that involve stealing money from certain people, it's the ramifications that would happen involved in the streets. And it's that conversation that they having with Tom when they explain it to him. And it's involved in a certain situation that they end up stealing certain money from a certain individual, and he owed money to a certain person in the streets, and he ended up getting killed in front of his girl and his wife at the time because they stole that money and he couldn't recoup basically. it's just crazy, man, and the way they explain that situation, because you might be somebody thinking, well, oh, they didn't have nothing to do with that, they stole the money, but he was the guy that was still, he was the guy that was doing the drug dealing or whatever in the streets. Nah, this ain't how that works. And I love the way they explain it to this cop, well, this ex-cop, this, not fugitive, but this con right now, and I love the way they explain it to him, and this even the look on his face, like, oh, shit, I really did that. I really made that domino effect happen, and I love the way they play into that, especially dealing with his character, being that he was supposed to be the leader of this crew. We still also get Nicole Steele. Nicole is still talking to local Baltimore people, and now she is talking to like police chiefs and like the people that's over the police, the people that pretty much supposed to protect the police when they have certain things going on with they being sued or whatever. And this is kind of her conversation with them as far as like these payouts, because most of the time, if not every time they are being sued as far as a complaint or whatever, it's pretty much a cash payout. And that's what she's trying to get an understanding of, especially with everything that they are dealing with this Daniel Hurst individual, as far as the cop that's still on the street doing what he's doing. So she's still doing what she's doing as far as getting more information as far as how the policing work and how the policing has been working since the Freddie Gray situation, by talking to locals and different police individuals or whatever. One of the chiefs he does talk to, shout out to my guy who was one of the veterans from The Wire, he's kind of seeming like a guy that's just caught in the middle. Like, it ain't like he's for everything that's going on, but it's also like you ain't trying to do nothing about it either. And that's kind of like her position towards him. But yeah, that's pretty much her role and her position in this episode, and what she's still trying to do or whatever. We also get back to Wayne Jenkins, and this is where we getting still the time jumps. We keep jumping back from 2005 and 2007, still showing the early days of Wayne Jenkins and him being police, and how much more the influences is, and how other police in Baltimore act and the way they perform on the job. Because you still pretty much getting how, like I said in the previous episode, you seen how he was pretty much kind of like nonchalant, not nonchalant, but kind of like he didn't know too much about shit, but not that. It was more of Wayne, as far as Wayne Jenkins, he was more of like innocent bystander at the time. Like when he first came in, as far as being a beat cop, he wasn't on the shit that he's on now. He was just, it was once again, as far as me saying, the influences. They are showing you more and more how he was influenced by not only the other cops, but it was the money. He was seeing how some of these other guys were banking, and how he was looking all scraggly, like he wasn't still coming in with the income that they was coming in with. And you seen how his personality once again starts to develop, as far as changing, as far as his motives and the things that he is seeing, and how he's starting to perform on his job. But it's just, like I said, the time jumps. And I want to say this too about the time jumps. I will say this. It's not that it's taking me out of the show, but it's like, The Wire, they didn't do things like this. And I know this is not The Wire, but I'm just saying, with the time jumps, at certain moments, it's almost like I'm forgetting, like, are we still in 2016 or are we in 2017? With those moments, not with really Wayne Jenkins, and as far as them going back with him, I can kind of distinct the times with them as far as 2005 and 2007. But it does, like I said, show you. And once again, we get another scene similar to the Daniel Hurst scene, where he's being called in, for the complaints or whatever. Well, Wayne Jenkins ends up being called in because they have a situation where they are patrolling one night, and they have these two individuals who just chilling on their porch. Imagine chilling on your porch after a long day of work. You getting a little beer in or whatever you doing. You just chilling on your porch, having a conversation with somebody or whatever. And you not doing that. You just literally sitting on your porch. And you have these cops come by or whatever, telling you need to go in the house or whatever. And it's like, damn. Like, I'm sitting here, just sitting on their front porch, and it's how after Wayne Jenkins does what he does, he gets a call to the supervisor, similar to Daniel Hurst. And everybody with this straight face, it's almost like they actually like looking at him like he in trouble, like he in serious trouble, like, oh shit, they actually about to get on his ass about what he's doing and his tactics. But no, it's a big ass joke. Like, it's a point where he's sitting there like, oh man, y'all got me. I thought y'all was really gonna get me or whatever. But it's the shit that they say to him. They basically are telling him to how to be more corrupt and how to basically get away with it. It's not the fact of doing what he did, it's the fact of getting away with doing what he did. That's pretty much they think. It's like, yo, your paperwork or whatever, you got to make sure you making the people that you pretty much violated, you got to make them look more like the perpetrators or whatever. You got to make them look more like the enemy, like they was trying to harm you. that's pretty much his point and where he trying to get with as far as the whole situation when he get called into the supervisor's room. And once again, it's these cops protecting cops. This situation is so crazy in the way they talking to him, everybody laughing. It's a damn joke. It's a big joke. And after you see what this dude end up doing as far as Wayne Jenkins, what he do to this guy that's just sitting on his porch, as far as these two black men who were just sitting on their porch, that's the thing. And they making a joke about it. It ain't no big deal. Not knowing what happened to this dude, not only he ended up getting beat up, but the fact that I think they ended up arresting these guys. So, once again, triggering shit. Just a lot of triggering shit once again, man. But, after that, we end up coming across Sean Suits, played by Marlo, but now my man Jamie Hector. But not only that, we get some more of the cameos as far as these Easter eggs from The Wire. I didn't even recognize my man at first, but Sean Suits, he's working on he's working on this homicide case, and he needs information or needs a little bit of help from one of the cops who was on the post of when the incident actually happened. And just so happened that this cop happens to be my man Dookie from the original Wire as far as season 4, who came in with the boys or whatever, who came in with the kids, that season where they was doing in school or whatever with the kids or whatever. I was just crazy seeing him, man. And they have had all these little Easter eggs and these little cameos from original Wire members. Like they had Slim in, I think, the first episode. And once again, you know, you got Jamie Hector who played Marlo. You got him in here playing the homicide cop or whatever. But it was really, really good seeing him in this role, man, and not really recognizing him and just seeing how grown up he is got, man. But not only that, the case they're actually working on, I was kind of thinking that maybe this case was going to go on a little farther, but it actually didn't, man. And to see Jamie Hector and what he's doing with this role as far as Sean Suits, I got kind of invested in this case he was working on as far as this homicide case, and they actually got through with it kind of quickly. So it was interesting to see them doing what they was doing and his tactics. Once again, it was taking me back to those days of The Wire with Bunk and them or whatever, and them working on cases or whatever in the homicide division or whatever. But I really was kind of getting invested in this and him working with Dookie or whatever. I know his name not Dookie in this series or whatever, but like I said, this is the original, man. And I was really good seeing this character come back or whatever for the series, and I'm hoping we get to see more of these characters come back. Like, it's a lot of Wire characters, so Bubbles, like some of the other kids, naming them from The Wire. I hope we get to see a lot of these other individuals, man. But yeah, it was really good seeing this character come back playing this role or whatever. Like I said, it's the flip we getting with a lot of these original Wire characters and them playing different roles as far as the original role that they came in playing on The Wire. Speaking of Sean Suits, as far as Jamie Hector's character, another time jump, and I'm thinking we are time jumping back not too far along. This is probably, I'm not sure. This might be 2000, but I don't think this 2016. This probably is, this is 2005 and 2007. If I'm not mistaken, this is around 2007. My bad. This is 2007. Like I said, it's a lot of time jumps, and the shit might get confusing at times. But this is 2007, and we will get interesting to see the early days of Sean Suits' character, Jamie Hector's character, Sean Suits, working with Wayne Jenkins. And I'm thinking maybe he a part of the Gun Trace Task Force, or just the unit that Wayne Jenkins run at the time, because I'm not sure he was running the Gun Trace Task Force, because it's an exchange he has with one of the members, which is Daniel Hurst of the Gun Trace Task Force, where they kind of like clowning him or teasing him because of his the money that they rolling with, as far as they got like this bottle of Patron, and I'm not gonna get all the way into it, but that was kind of a little confusing right there, because I didn't know if he was a part of the Gun Trace Task Force at that time or if he wasn't, as far as Wayne Jenkins. But anyway, we do have early days as far as I think the time jump is 2007, where we have Jamie Hector's character Sean Suits working with Wayne Jenkins, and it's an interesting moment between these two, as far as them having this certain bust, and you can already see how Jamie Hector's character Sean Suits is not really on the same page as far as Wayne Jenkins and the other fellow officers as the way they do things, especially with the ones on the Gun Trace Task Force. So you kind of see that he was never really in that position as far as the things are going the way that they would go about doing the way they tactics, or how they go about doing things they do. But it gives input to why Wayne Jenkins was looking and feeling the way he was in that first episode, because during the time jumps, it shows the years of corruption that grew on him and how he was able to get away with so many different things. Once again, going back to that scene with him, as far as being coming to the other officers and thinking he was in trouble, but he wasn't. it's that look on his face when he's in those interrogation rooms. Why he kind of seems like, it's like, what's going on? Why are y'all doing this to me? Like, no, y'all know who I am. All of these developments, and that's why I did say as far as the time jumps, it could get confusing, but it also is working. But it's working with Wayne Jenkins because it's showing you how this character became the character he did, and why he is sitting there in so much denial as far as him being actually caught now and feeling like, what's going on? Like, this is not supposed to happen to me. It does give a lot of insight to why he was acting that way. And then, like I said, even seeing these early scenes between him and Sean, it really gives a lot of light on that. But yeah, man, it's definitely going to be interesting moving forward, especially seeing who they're going to interrogate next, because each episode is basically them interrogating each member of the Gun Trace Task Force. And I'm waiting on that Daniel Hurst interrogation. If they're going to interrogate him, I'm thinking that we are, though, but I'm definitely waiting on that one, because I'm waiting on that. But I'm thinking maybe Wayne Jenkins going to end up being that last one. As far as probably the last episode, his interrogation probably going to be the last one. But more than likely, either Daniel Hurst or one of the, I'm trying to think, that's all of them though, right, that we getting right now. So Daniel Hurst will be the next interrogation, right, and Wayne Jenkins probably gonna be the last. But it's gonna be interesting to see how they go moving forward. As far as the cops, we are getting different. We are mostly staying with the FBI agents. Them are the main ones that we mostly stand with, as far as the guys that's talking to everybody who's doing all the interrogations with all the Gun Trace Task Force officers. Them the main ones, because we didn't really get too much from the other officers who came across the tracer. We didn't get them at all, if I'm not mistaken, in this episode. So you kind of see who are our main ones that we are kind of sticking around to, especially with being the FBI agents and the Coles characters. But primarily it's Wayne Jenkins. This is the guy we following from the time jumps to now. But I will say in this episode, as far as the interrogation and his character in 2017, we're not getting too much from him in that. But the time jumps, we are mainly focused on him and his character development as far as how he became who he became, as far as Wayne Jenkins, Sergeant Wayne Jenkins. Anyway, y'all let me know in the comment section, how did y'all feel about this recent episode, as far as We Own This City, as far as episode 3. I know it has some good, not good, but some real triggering moments. But y'all let me know how y'all feel, man. The acting, phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. But once again, man, I really like the way they explained. And once again, I got to go back to how they explained to him the way the domino effect happened with the things they was doing, especially stealing from these certain individuals that were still in the streets, and how that shit could trickle down to the effect it could have for what you did caused this man's death. You might not have pulled the trigger, you might not have killed him personally, but you was responsible for his death. And that scene, man, that scene. But y'all let me know in the comment section how y'all feeling about this, as far as this recent episode of We Own This City. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is the road to 500 subs. Make sure you hit that notification bell, let you know when I upload new videos. Shout out to all my recent subscribers, and shout out to everybody who's been checking me out. New episode of Uncut Ish Talk this Friday at 9 p.m. live on YouTube and Twitch. Other than that, man, we out.
Look around. We built this machine where half the damn country part with money and power to chew up the other half that didn't have anything to begin with. Watch it work.
I feel like a god.
I teach these young kids to be good, honest cops. Go, police! The rest is up to them.
Dirty cop.
Well, you say, look, ask me, do I want a problem?
No, I don't think you
I don't ever want a problem. But when they say they want a problem, I say, no problem. That's it.